and this is the fourth legislative update from the Wyoming Farm Bureau Federation. The legislative body considered several bills the past week that generated some citizen concern across the state, dealing with a wide variety of issues concerning gun rights, abortion rights, sexual rights, and even education. One highly controversial bill was Senate File 104, which stripped many duties from the Superintendent of Public Instruction and created a Department of Education head. The superintendent has since filed suit on the constitutionality of this bill. The bill has been assigned to Judge Thomas Campbell and more than likely will kicked up to the Supreme Court. We've got a few updates for you on some previously discussed bills. House Bill 69, dealing with highway funding, would increase fuel tax by 10 cents a gallon. The bill has passed Senate Revenue Committee. As a reminder, the Wyoming Farm Bureau does not support this bill. We want to urge all our members to contact their local senators and tell them our concerns. Contact information for your senator can be found on LSO's website, or there's a hotline where you can leave a message, and we'll be posting that at the end of this video again. House Bill 126 would make it a crime to photograph or videotape an agricultural operation without the consent of the owner. This bill was referred to the House Ag Committee, where it was discussed and amended on Tuesday. It has now passed the House Committee of the Whole. Next, I want to talk about Senate File 118. This is an eminent domain bill that would amend current statute to make it easier for a landowner to get back their attorney fees if the property is condemned. The bill is moving through the Senate, but we do anticipate some opposition to this next week. Senate File 126 is a bill that deals with oversized loads. The bill would allow the governor the flexibility to allow for oversized loads. The bill was brought forward in light of hay loads being oversized and having trouble at ports of entry. The bill has passed the Senate and is now being referred to the House Transportation Committee. That's all I have for you today, so I'm going to hand you over to Brett now. Brett?
Thanks, Dawn. There's 4 different bills I'd like to visit with you today. The first bill is House Bill 225 that deals with transfer of ownership of livestock and brands. This bill would clarify that you do not need to get the livestock inspected if all you are doing is changing your business type entity. For example, going from individuals to a partnership. At this point, we believe that you would not have to pay the predator fees. We are unclear if you would have to pay the beef checkoff, depending on how we interpret existing law. There's been 2 bills this week that have dealt with game and fish license fee increases. Last week I mentioned that we killed a bill that would have increased the license fees and would have also put indexing into price increases in the future. This week we worked on House Bill 236 that would have increased the fees to non-resident hunters. This bill died in committee. The third bite of the apple that this group has had to increase license fees has passed. House Bill 260 would increase big game license fees for residents and non-residents. This barely passed committee 5-4. We have policy that game and fish needs to live within its means, and we are working to make sure that they do not get any increase in fees that they are not entitled to, that they don't absolutely need to keep that entity running. We've also worked on House Bill 160 that deals with pesticides. The language in the new bill would replace outdated language that is in our current statutes and would bring us into compliance with language that is in the federal law. Today, an amendment was passed that would make it that any general pesticide, for an example, Roundup 2,4-D, might not be sold in Wyoming because the state law would say that you do not need to comply with what's on the label. This is a federal law that's needed. We have to have it in our state law, or we run the risk of these products not being sold in Wyoming. We encourage you to contact your senators to have the amendment that was put on today removed on second reading, probably on Monday. This coming week, they will be spending at least 2 days on the budget, so some of the other bills will move slowly through both the House and the Senate, but we'll stay tuned and we'll keep you informed for next week.